Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 11 o'clock session for the NUS School of Computing e-Open House, coming to you live from our classroom studio called SR1. Maybe I'll just give you a sneak peek. Can you see everybody here?
Oh man, that giant picture of me.
Yes. All right. It's good to see everybody on Zoom. We're also live on Facebook Live and YouTube. But if you want to interact with us, please join us on Zoom, okay? Join us on Zoom. The link is given to you. If you're watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, the link to join Zoom is there. Click on it if you want to interact with us, okay? Use the Zoom chat to type in your questions, all right? But otherwise, may I request that you mute yourself and just enjoy this morning's event. All right. Good morning, one and all. I'm Terence Sim. I'm an associate professor here at the School of Computing, and it's my pleasure to be hosting this session today with our lovely Miss Sarah Tan, who is an alumni of our school. And before I get to her, I'm really excited. She has a lot to share with you as well. I just want to go over some basic protocol. So as you can see, we have a full day's program today, starting at 10 a.m. and running all the way until 6 p.m. Okay, and every hour, on the hour, there will be somebody here engaging with you. Okay, and we will primarily reach out to you on Facebook and YouTube, and sometimes on Zoom and other times on Instagram. Okay, so be sure to catch us, all the different programs, catch us at every hour on the hour. All right, and if you have questions about our program, please feel free to use Zoom chat for to interact with us. All right, and also for today, this segment now is where we invite an alumna in this case, Miss Sarah Tan, to be with us. Sarah was our student not that long ago, right, Sarah? No?
That's quite a while.
Quite a while, yeah. I remember the first thing when I met her. Actually, I thought it was my first time meeting you, Sarah, but then you told me it was my second time. And you do remember what you said? You said,
No.
yeah, you said, it's my second time and you forgot my name. And I was so embarrassed because you were also in my class then. So, wow, I thought I better, make sure I remember this lady's name. So from then on, I never forget her, okay? Just by way of introduction to Sarah, just to show you that she was indeed a student here, I'm gonna do a screen share. Okay, Sarah, don't mind, I need to, that's the danger of being my student.
It's okay. Do whatever. I trust you.
Yes, yes. So you can see here, yes, that's Sarah and her infamous sidekick, Lynette, when they were undergrads and they were dressing up for Halloween. Can you believe it or not? You know, you can see, Sarah, you're dressed up as what? Android 5?
Android.
And
Yeah,
you're
5.0.
carrying what?
So lollipop.
Oh, Lollipop, that was what it was called.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what about Lynette? Android 4.4, Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Those were the days, huh? It seemed like eons
Fun
ago.
times.
Fun times, fun times. Yeah. So when I saw that, I thought, man, this lady not only has good IQ, she's got good EQ. Seriously. And she could, really get along with people and make us feel, even profs, right? Profs are typically intimidating, but she could ease herself into our hearts. And here is a creation that Sarah made in my class. I used to teach a class on digital special effects. And you see this cool thing that Sarah did, okay, where she can combine shopping. Look at that. Look at how she does her online shopping. She just grabs the product from the computer screen. Oh my gosh. It looks like she didn't pay.
Oh man, memories. That was so long ago.
So that was wonderfully done. Yeah, and I hope you have gone on to bigger things, and you're here to tell us that. Okay, so without further ado, Let us all welcome Miss Sarah Tan, who's joining us live from Seattle. Sarah, over to you, please.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let me share my screen. Sorry if I was a bit distracted just now. I was trying to figure out how to share this properly. Because even though I'm in technology, I'm still really bad at technology, so it's okay, guys. Share. I think
Yep,
that
we can see your
works.
screen. Yep,
Let
it's
me
coming up.
I'm gonna do a quick sound check to make sure I shared it correctly.
Yes, we heard it.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Sarah. Like Terrence introduced me, I actually graduated from NUS in December 2014, but that's still considered class of 2015. So I was doing a concurrent degree program, which means I applied for my bachelor's and my master's, and I got both. One at NUS, my undergrad for CS, and the second one at Carnegie Mellon Entertainment Technology Center, which is in America. And I got accepted to both at the same time. It was a conditional acceptance to the master's program and just the normal acceptance to NUS. So that's me. And right now I'm working at Rec Room, which is a game company in US based in Seattle, Washington. And I'm the engineering lead of growth. So very exciting stuff. So today I'm gonna share a bit about my journey, how I went from NUS Computing to Rec Room. And yeah, I did lots of crazy things along the way, as Terrence kind of showed you a bit of the less crazy stuff. So yeah, so I'm gonna jump right in. Um, so as I mentioned, I graduated in December 2014. I joined in August 2011, and yeah, I was not a very hardworking student. I really wasn't. Remember I mentioned that I did a concurrent degree program. Um, well, that one has a cutoff. It's conditional based acceptance. So I had to maintain a certain grade in order to go do my master's, and I kind of didn't hit the cutoff all the way until my final semester. So
Mm,
that was not super great, but hey, I made it in the end.
yep, you did. No
So, yep.
worries. That was
I
too long
always
ago.
say, yeah, grades are honestly not the most important thing. The only reason why it was particularly important for me was because I knew I wanted to get into my master's program. I did
Mhm.
not want to get kicked out halfway. That would also reflect pretty badly on NUS. So last semester I worked very hard, told myself, okay, I need to pull up my grades. In the end, I did and got in. Um, so I realized this did not appear the first time I clicked on it. So yeah, I did a concurrent degree program, and specifically it was in interactive digital media. So I did computer science in NUS, and I focused on digital media. So a lot of the media side of things like games or special effects, which is what I took
Mhm.
under Terrence, and some design work as well, because it's always
Wait, you
important
need
to
to
have
go
some design sense.
to work within 5 minutes.
Um, Sorry, Terrence, we can hear people talking on your side just now. Um, yeah, and while I was in NUS, I joined a lot of student activities. The main one which I joined was the NUS Students Computing Club, which is kind of like the student council there, and it was great. Like I'll admit I spent a lot of time, probably more time than I should have, working on stuff in the student club than on my actual schoolwork. But honestly, it was great. And I was the vice sports director, I think, for the first year that I was in the club, helping to organize the interfaculty games for the School of Computing, did a bunch of other sporting events for the students. In my second year, I moved on to be the vice president, the external vice president of the club. So that was pretty cool because it allowed me to interact with not just the students, but the stakeholders of the clubs, which included like the staff of NUS, not just School of Computing, but NUS in general, the professors, our sponsors, external companies. And something that was pretty cool, I actually had multiple job offers before I graduated because people, like external companies whom I had worked with previously, heard I was graduating. And it's just kind of like networking. People have worked with you before, they know you are going to be a good culture fit. They see your grades, they're like, okay, Sarah is a potential hire. So I had multiple offers before I graduated, and those were offers which I did not apply for. So yes, joining student activities has benefits. It's not a waste of time, I will say that. On top of that, I was also part of Yusuf Hall. So I stayed on campus, even though like Singapore is small, traveling does not take that long, but I just wanted the experience. So yeah, I stayed in hall for 3 years, 3 years out of my 3.5 years. And as some of you might know, in order to stay on the next year in the halls in NUS, you have to do a lot of student activities. So of course, I joined a bunch of activities there as well. I played sports competitively, basketball and handball, did a bunch of other student clubs there. And you're probably wondering how I had time for schoolwork. That's why my grades weren't that good until the final semester. But honestly, I don't regret any of that. I think like when you go through college, university, you don't want to just go through it and study. That's not what you want to graduate with. You want to have other things as well. You need something to differentiate yourself. If you're just gonna go through school and study, you honestly might as well just do an online degree. It's cheaper, it's faster. So make full use of like all the facilities, all the resources, all the people that are present in NUS. Another thing which I did a lot of was student camps. So something like orientation camps. I joined more than 20 camps in total, which was kind of crazy. Most people join like one or two, like their first year when they enter NUS, the orientation camps, they just joined it. I enjoyed it so much. I basically every single year I would go back and say, hey, I want to help out. I want to be an orientation group leader. I want to be part of the planning committee, the organizing committee. So I've seen like all the different aspects of the camps in NUS, from being a freshie myself, freshman, new student, so like a camp participant, to an orientation group leader, to part of the managing committee, to the committee which approves the camp program. So lots of things. It was a very eye-opening experience. And yeah, so my time at NUS was definitely not just studying in schoolwork. I did a lot of additional things on the side. And honestly, like I mentioned previously, I do not regret any of it. It has definitely helped me a ton. And I'll go into that a bit more later when I talk about what I'm doing right now in Rec Room. So that was NUS. After I graduated, because thankfully in the last semester I hit the cutoff grade, I went on to ETC, which is Entertainment Technology Center. So that's one of the faculties in CMU, Carnegie Mellon University. It's based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the United States. So CMU is actually pretty famous for their computer science courses. I think they are the top number 3 in the world for CS, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wasn't doing CS there per se. I was doing entertainment technology, which is kind of different. Most of the students go into games afterwards, but some of the students also do stuff like film, special effects, themed entertainment, so theme parks and all of that. And this was pretty different from NUS in that I didn't really do any student activities. And the reason for that was the hours there were really, really long. Like it was insane. I thought I was busy in NUS doing all those activities. It was busier in ETC, but honestly, the work was so fun. And to give an example, we have this class called Building Virtual Worlds. Some of you might have heard of Randy Pausch in the last lecture. Pretty famous guy, pretty famous talk that he gave. In that talk, he mentioned that there were a bunch of students whom he was teaching, and he kept throwing them like crazy tasks, like building a game in 2 weeks. And he threw them crazier and crazier tasks. And he was talking to his mentor and telling him that, hey, these students are exceeding my expectations. I'm giving them things which I don't think is possible, but they're delivering and over-delivering. And his mentor told him, well, push them even harder. And that's how this course came about, Building Virtual Worlds. Honestly, it was so fun, definitely crazy. So to give you a taste of it, it's every 2 weeks, you build a game from scratch. You don't get to choose your teammates. You don't get to choose the theme of the game. And you don't use like normal PC for the games, like no keyboard and mouse or controller, because that's too mainstream. That's boring. At that time when I was doing my master's there, VR was still a pretty new thing. So a lot of the games were on VR platforms. We had HoloLens as well, even before it got released to the public, because when your school has good connections, you get all these devices before they come out. And other proprietary platforms which were made at ETC by students in the past. So pretty cool stuff. And also
Well,
because
Randy
these,
Pausch was the founder of ETC,
yeah,
right? Randy
uh-huh,
Pausch. Yeah, so he
he
could
is.
pull all this thing together.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. Unfortunately, he passed away
Passed
from
away. Yeah,
cancer. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
but it's called The Last Lecture.
that's
Literally
right.
last lecture.
I actually
Unfortunately.
met with him and chatted with him.
Oh,
Yeah, back
really
in
nice.
2004. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, that's right. So
Oh
I'm glad
man,
you
I wish I got a
benefited from.
chance.
Yeah, yeah. But go on.
That's
Yeah.
super cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so ETC, very fun. So at ETC, that Building Virtual Worlds class, that's the keystone program of the whole school. And I enjoyed it so much that the next year I actually decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be the head teacher for it, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I soon realized that the whole class is run by the TAs, by the head TAs rather. It's a pretty big class, and you can imagine if the students are under that much pressure, that much like they have to work so hard. There's also a lot of work for the TAs. It was a lot of work, and honestly, this was pretty amazing because for me as a TA, I got to sit through all the different student presentations, which doesn't sound interesting, but you slowly absorb what the professors are telling the students during the critiques. So I think I sat through like maybe 80 or so different games. And by the end of the semester, I could tell before the professor even spoke, like when the students, after the students have presented, I can tell, okay, this is what's good, this is what's bad, this is what the prof is going to say.
So
And
you were
like,
learning along the way as well.
yep,
Yeah.
you will absorb it when you see that many.
Right.
So it was pretty cool, really interesting experience. It was crazy. I ended up sleeping over in school a lot of times because we had a deadline which was like 2359 deadline, and you had to turn it in on a physical computer. So as a head TA, I had to be there until all the students had submitted their work. And I still remember with fond memories at 2359, well, or at exactly midnight, I would lock the doors, and some students would be like knocking on the door, please let us in, please let us submit our stuff.
Wow, you were mean.
We
Or you were following rules.
Yeah, this class was very strict. Like even for attendance, if you're late, you get points deducted.
Wow, okay.
Yep. If you're absent, you get even more points deducted. If you're already in school, but like you went to the bathroom or something, well, you shouldn't have done that during attendance taking. So it was very strict. Yeah. If I tried to bend the rules a bit, sometimes the professors would be like, Sarah, you cannot make exceptions for the students. So yeah, this was a course about discipline.
Indeed.
Yes, it was. So discipline is very important in the game industry. And honestly, the school, they wanted to give us a taste of the game industry. This is not really a good thing, but the game industry is kind of notorious for this thing called crunch, where you are working many, many hours a week. It's pretty bad because some companies, they plan for crunch and they overwork their employees. But I'm very happy to say that Rec Room, the company which I'm at right now, is not like that at all. We treat our employees really well. Like people are actually humans here. We care for each other. There is no mandated crunch. Usually if I'm working late, it's because I want to do it, which I'm kind of a workaholic, which I know it sounds a bit unbelievable given how little I studied while I was in NUS, but I am a workaholic, especially if I enjoy the work. You know that common saying, if you love the work you do, you never work a day in your life? That is not true. If you love your work, you're gonna end up working every single hour of your life because the work is so fun. Like I really enjoy what I learn. And actually I'm like going into the next part of it, but I forgot to mention, I actually won an award then, N. Humphreys Memorial Award.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah.
I think you're
So
the first foreign student to win it, right?
Oh, really? Was I?
I
don't remember.
So. Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been years.
But you are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was a pretty cool award in that Anne Humphrey, she used to be one of the faculty members at ETC, but Again, because of cancer, she passed away, and this award it's in her memory because she fought all the way to the end. She had a fighting spirit. So they gave this award to students who, through their work in school, are reaching out to help others, like a lot of community stuff and people who inspire others to be positive. So this was an unexpected award. I did not realize that they were going to give it to me. Like, they announced it during the commencement ceremony itself, and I was like, oh,
So it was
completely
a surprise.
taken aback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
totally a surprise. Was not expecting that, but it was also a nice surprise. And yeah, so that was my time at ETC. And immediately after ETC, I went on to join Rec Room. So I'm still there right now, and I'm probably gonna be there for the foreseeable future because, like I said, the work is very fun, and I really mean it when I say it's the best job ever. I just passed my 4-year mark at Rec Room, and even though it's been 4 years, every single day I still wake up excited to work because it's just fun work. And this is terrible, but sometimes I end up working on weekends because, especially now that we're all working from home because of the pandemic, I will admit that it's kind of hard to put aside everything because I use my work computer as my personal computer as well. So that's not a very good thing, but I'm trying to put in place boundaries. But it's kind of hard when your passion is also your job. That's why I say you end up working all the time if it's a job you love. So just keep that in mind. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you know your limits and you know your boundaries. But it's just
you found time to do cooking, which we can
Yes, I
talk
did.
about later. Yeah, so I think you managed to strike a good. At least when food calls you, you also
yeah.
took an interest in making, Singaporean food. Yeah. Oh, somebody is not muted. Can I request that all participants mute yourself, please?
But would you know which company we are from, man?
We want to
Hello?
mute them? Okay, I just muted him.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so Rec Room. And actually, let me just give a quick introduction on what Rec Room is, because most of you probably haven't heard of Rec Room. So this is the marketing spiel. So, Rec Room
Yes.
is the best place in the world to hang out with friends, friends from all over the world. So basically, if I want to play a game with Terrence or anybody in Singapore, I can do that because it's our network. It's a multiplayer online social game. And then you can play a lot of multiplayer games like Paintball, which is a first party game which we released. Or if you don't want to play a game, you can just hang out, socialize with your friends. So this picture was taken, I think, 3 years ago. And yeah, that's me in 2018. And the people in the background are my coworkers. The company has like tripled in size since then. So yeah, a lot more coworkers right now.
And this is COVID safe, right?
Yes. So players create lots of room and you can discover like thousands and thousands. Actually, now there's more than 1 million. So I should update this, discover millions of player created rooms. And some of you might recognize this. I don't know if anybody recognizes. Do people play games nowadays? Yes, right?
They do. They do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
At least
Does
when they
anybody
sit in
know?
my class. That's bad, but
Does anybody know where this image is taken from? Like, just type it in the chat if you recognize it. I'll be really sad if nobody recognizes it because, yeah, I hope people are still gay. No, it's not World of Warcraft. Wow.
Good try. It's not World of Warcraft. I wouldn't know.
Just keep typing. I will reveal it later. But yeah, so there are millions of player created rooms. So you'll never be bored. It's not Roblox. It's not Assassin's Creed. Or if you don't want to play what other people made, you can build your own. So that is super cool. I'm really, really excited about this. And the majority of time spent in our game right now is actually in UGC rooms, user-generated content. So players can basically build anything they want. We have a visual scripting system, which we call circuits. It's Turing complete, which means you can just program whatever you want in there. And because it's a visual scripting language, you don't really need programming background to use any of these tools. you can like model in the game as well. Like that model of Wall-E was created in game using, can I grab my mouse? This weird pen thing here.
Yes.
We call it a maker pen.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it looks like a glue gun and
It does.
extrudes out like shapes. So it's pretty cool.
Ooh.
And yeah, you can build crazy things in there. Like
Mm.
when I see the things which players create, half the time I'm like, how did they build that? We built the tools for them. They take it and they run with it, and all of us, all the devs are like, how? How did they do it? Can you guys teach us how you're using our tools? Which is kind of crazy. And the most exciting thing about this is that we recently started paying players. So you can charge other players tokens, which is the in-game currency in your room. And then if you hit a certain amount of tokens, you can cash it out for real money. So it's very exciting because we've seen like really young people, like young adults, teenagers, some people who are not even old enough to drive, earn so many tokens in-game currency that they can cash it out. And like when you are 15 years old, what job can pay you like $7,000 a month?
Wow.
Be a creator in Rec Room.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a significant amount of money. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And sorry, that was like a bit of a marketing spiel because I'm very excited about that. Yeah, and the best part about Rec Room, it's completely free. The in-game currency, you can earn it in-game if you want to grind, which is not very fun. You can do like in-app purchases and buy the currency, but the game itself is free. And it's also cross-platform. So you can play in VR, which is the most fun one. You can just play it on PC through Steam. It's on all the major VR headsets. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. It's on iOS devices. So basically everywhere. Which is very exciting because we are slowly inching over to every single device that we can get our hands on. And that's Rec Room. So next, I am going to show you a super cool video. This is actually a player-created video, and they decided they're going to make a trailer for the game. And it was really impressive. Like, this is made by players, not us. So let me just play it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Rec Room's where I come to play.
There's so many things to do in this game.
It's where we practice our dodgeball skills.
It's where we do charades night.
It's where we embark on epic adventures and fight colossal bosses.
It's where we settle our problems. With paintball.
We prefer laser tag.
It's where we build,
where we draw, where we chill.
It's where we showcase our skills
and create our own worlds.
It's where I meet up with my friends.
Friends.
A game for everyone.
An app for everyone.
A world for everyone.
Wow, nicely done.
All right, I was so impressed when I saw this video. I'm like, can I steal that video and just use it for all our promotional stuff now? Really good thing.
That was a quick question. Somebody wants Rec Room. Is it available on Android?
Unfortunately, not yet,
Not
but
yet, okay.
soon. I will say soon. I cannot give you a specific date, but soon. And yeah,
But on
so
iOS, yes, right?
yes, on iOS it's available.
Okay.
And yeah, so when I first joined Rec Room, I was a gameplay engineer. I was in multiple teams, and I actually joined the company before they were a year old. So as a startup, so it was a pretty big risk for me because as a non-American, I need a work visa to stay here. And there is always that fear with startups. Are they gonna go under? What's gonna happen to my visa? Because if they go under, then okay, I think 30 days to leave the country, which is not great. Thankfully they didn't, and in fact we are doing very, very well right now. Well enough that I can afford to buy a house of my own here. So I really hope they don't go under now because I have a house here and I don't want to leave it here. Yeah, and after that, they actually, so the management at the company said, hey Sarah, we think you have a lot of natural leadership talent. We want to promote you to a engineering lead. And here's where like my experience in NUS came in useful, because even though they say it was a natural talent, it's not. It's because I did so many leadership activities in NUS. Like all those years of practicing while in school where the stakes are low, you can fail, that really helped a ton. Like seriously, the only reason why I was able to move into a lead role so quickly is because I had practice. So don't ever think that joining student activities is a waste of time. It's not. And right now, I am the engineering lead of growth. So interested in how I can bring in new users to the app, how I can make the app go viral, and basically new users, but not spending that much money. So yeah, not paid user acquisition. That's different. Yeah, and that's basically my time in Rec Room. And if you forgot everything I said in this, I have summarized the 3 most important things for you guys to remember, not just for NUS School of Computing, but just university in general. Important stuff. Take part in student activities. Like seriously, guys, you learn so many skills, soft skills, which are very important. And right now, because the environment is so competitive, when you graduate, if you graduate with good grades, sure, but there are also like many other people who graduate with good grades. What's differentiating you? You network with people. Do people in the industry already know you? That makes a very big difference. And next, get to know the people in NUS people. So not just your friends, but the professors, the staff, like how I'm speaking to you guys today, because I made friends with the professors and stuff. Like I'm still friends with Terrence. I'm still friends with the other staff in NUS. That's why I got invited back to speak. And I'm actually friends with a lot of you guys on Facebook, right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's how I follow your cooking.
Yeah, I
right?
only
Every
use
time.
Facebook to post food.
And your day is my night. So when you post, I'm supposed to be asleep, but I'm looking at gorgeous pictures of food. That's
Sorry.
not good.
Yeah, and last thing, NUS has a ton of free resources. Make use of them. You get like free career advice because there's career counseling, interview practice. You have free software, so many things. Like all these are very expensive once you graduate and you start working and you don't have that university email anymore. Make use of it. Some of it can cost like thousands of dollars. So don't like seriously make use of it. And from a perspective of a hiring manager, I can tell who has gone through like career counseling and all that, because some people clearly have no interview experience at all. They have not done their homework. And when I'm interviewing them, I'm like, why? Do you really want this job? Like I would have expected some practice or some research, but no. So make use of it, really. It's painful for both parties if you don't.
Good advice.
And yeah, so that's all that I have for you guys. Let's chat.
I think
we can answer questions.
The chatting has started. There's one question right on the chat about why you decided to pursue your master's in the US.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the chat. So that one is interesting because I kind of applied for this concurrent degree program, CDP, without doing any research. I just thought it sounded cool. Like I wanted to do a grad program, and this one sounded the coolest out of everything. So I just applied. Like I said, I was not the best student. Yeah, it just sounded cool. So I applied for it and I somehow got it, which is a miracle in itself. And it happened to be a master's in the States. So yeah, it's not a very interesting story. It's just, I thought it sounded cool. Let's see. So I see a question. What programming languages do I use? So for my job right now, I use C# because our game is made in Unity, and Unity is generally people use C# for it. Okay,
would you like to review where that shot was taken from? Yeah, some guesses, World of Warcraft.
Oh, it makes me sad. Nobody plays it. It's from Dark Souls. Yeah, it's from Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's actually I thought it would be pretty obvious, but I guess nobody plays it, so oh well. It is really from Dark Souls. That's from oh man, I forgot what's the name of that city. Oh man, this is terrible.
No
now
worries.
I can't remember.
No worries. What's that scene?
Stop sharing my screen first. Okay. Yes. Sorry, continue. What were you saying?
No, was that scene created by you guys or by your users?
Oh, it was completed. It was created. Why is it
Created.
completed? Created completely by players.
Oh, by players. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
In game. Like, so we don't
In-game.
have a separate modeling software or tooling software or whatever. It's all created in game. So it's social creation. Like, I can hop in with you today, right now, if you want, and we can build something together. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So there was a very early question. Maybe I can just pick on it because I think it's quite unusual. I think it's from somebody called EC. He or she was asking, can a student with color deficiency, as in maybe a bit of colorblind or other color issues, be able to take up CS and other programs in School of Computing? Definitely, if I can quickly answer that, definitely that's not a problem in CS per se, right? In fact, just to share with the students, I've had such a student, and during the exam, we just have to make sure that, anyway, exam papers are printed in black and white, but these days with COVID, it'll be shown on the screen, and we don't just rely on colors. We use different shapes, or we have lines that are dashed and dots to make the difference prominent. So we do make sure that even students with color perceptual difficulties will not be disadvantaged, right? But what about in the gaming world? Is color deficiency going to be a serious hindrance or what?
So it really depends, because even in the game itself, there are many different programming roles. If you're at a startup, you're going to wear multiple hats. If you're at a big company, you will specialize. So if you specialize in something like graphics programming or shader work, probably this will affect you, because then you have to do like visual comparisons. But if you're doing something like I'm working on the physics engine or the networking stack, then no, this does not affect. So it really depends on what you want to focus on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a lot that is non-visual in a game, right? I mean, a lot of the, so to speak, the plumbing and those color is not an issue. So that's good to know. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, questions are popping up quite quickly.
I'm like trying to
keep
up with this.
Yeah. So there was a question for you about when did you start to apply for this CDP? I think you started in your first year, right?
Yes, so I applied for it together with my undergrad. So before I even joined NUS, after I got my A-level results, I applied directly for the program.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember as head of that program, we allow students to apply even during their first year, but not beyond that, because then it will significantly delay their graduation, right? So there was in a sense a hard time limit. You could apply as a freshman or during your first year. Yeah, I think you did that. So if you apply for third years and beyond that, that's no longer possible. At least the program is not possible. You can always apply to a master's, separate masters on your own directly. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there's a question about, can I study computer science or other program in School of Computing with pen test OS like Kali, Linux, or Parrot OS? Okay, so I guess this is a question about pen testing, security. We do have a course in pen testing, and I guess at that point in time, you will be using one or more of these. I'm not teaching that class, but I'm aware of Kali, Unix, and all that. So I would take it that, the tools will be provided for you when you take the course. And the tools change, but we teach you the fundamentals, right? So there's no worry about that. Yeah.
And I just wanna
go ahead.
Add on something to that. Like in school, a lot of what you'll learn is the tools, the fundamentals. We generally don't teach about the specifics of something because technology keeps changing. If we teach you guys how to learn, that actually stays with you forever. A lot of the skills which I'm using right now at Rec Room, I picked up on the job. Like stuff I learned in school, definitely useful, but it's mostly the foundational stuff which was useful. A lot of the things which I do now on a day-to-day basis, picked it up on the job.
Here's a question for you, Sarah, about why you choose to remain to work in the US instead. Yeah, that's more interesting.
So, originally, Rec Room was a VR-only game company. Now we have expanded to more platforms, but the game industry in Singapore is a bit sad. Like there are not that many companies, game companies in Singapore. You have very limited choice. So I decided, and there was no VR game companies in Singapore at that time, and I wanted to do VR. So I decided I'm just gonna apply to companies in US and see what happens. Like if I don't get anything, fine, I'll go to Singapore. If I get something, cool, maybe I'll stay a few years, test out the waters, see how it goes. Then I found Rec Room, and it's been so great here. It's kind of hard to leave. Like, do I like America? Unfortunately, I don't love America, but I love my company, and it's enough to make me stay here. But in the ideal world, my company will grow big enough that it expands to Singapore and I can go back to Singapore. So that's the ideal world, which won't be anytime soon.
Well, you never know. You never know. I think your company has the potential of growing big really fast, in which case they would think about expanding, and Asia Pacific might be a good place. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now that I'm the head of growth,
yes,
I'm gonna make it happen.
You can steer some of the policies. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Let's take another message.
Okay. So let's see. Should I answer stuff which is only relevant to this? Because a lot of them are like admissions question or
you can
just
answer
general.
stuff for you, right? Because you are here. I mean, there'll be right after this, I will be hosting another session, and so the prospective students can ask me those related to admissions. But I think in this platform, we want to seize you and seize the opportunity we have with you.
Awesome.
Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
So there's one question. What's my experience like with a startup in the US and the main difficulties and learning points with growing with Rec Room? So I would say the startups here are pretty similar to the tech startups in Singapore. So I have a lot of friends who work in like the Block 71 area on other tech startups. And what my day-to-day life back then was pretty similar to theirs. Now, of course, it's different because I've been working from home for the past 1 year. I have not gone out because America. So that's different. Also, our company is growing at an incredible speed. So things are changing very quickly. And that's actually one of the pain points because we are growing so quickly. We are outgrowing faster than we can. We're outgrowing a lot of our technology and infrastructure faster than we can build it up. So that's why we are also like a crazy hiring spree right now because we just don't have enough developers to help build stuff out. Okay, so how did I find out about the master's degree? I was just browsing through the one of the brochures I got from I think NUS Open Day. I saw, hey, this sounds like a cool concurrent degree program because I want to do a master's. So I just applied and really no thought went into it. I'm really terrible.
Just for your background, this program at ETC started, I believe, in 2007. And at that time, CMU president came for the signing of that MOU. And I was hosting that event. That's how I remember it, you know. And so we had our first batch of students from 2007. And then every year we took in about 4 or 5, but things have changed. There are still other concurrent degree programs. And that's going on, but unfortunately, this one that you took, Sarah, this one unfortunately is no longer offered. I heard.
The reason why I know is because I've been like bugging the people back at ETC, telling them, "Hey, I want to hire students," and then I found out, oh, there are no more Singaporeans because this program is not there anymore.
The program has ceased, unfortunately. But still, you know, you can still students can still come to a NUS and then separately apply on their own to this ETC. ETC is still going on. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Second part of that question, any tips for those interested in game design and VR? How can we pursue it and join the game industry? Because the game industry in Singapore isn't that popular. That's true. It's changing slowly. The game industry is getting more popular as more and more companies enter Singapore. Like Riot Games has a bunch of programmers there now, but I would say take up projects on the side. Ship your own games. That's the best way.
Right.
Like build up your portfolio. For a lot of game companies, when we hire people, even for fresh grads, we see like, do they have any portfolios? Have they started any projects? Have they finished any projects? Because it's easy to start a project, not so easy to finish it.
Agreed. You know what we need? We need you to come back and help the VR scene here in Singapore. That's what we need you to do.
When my company grows bigger.
All right, we have about a couple of minutes left in our slot today. So perhaps we can just take one or two more questions and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
So I think there's the last question there. What electives under CS would be beneficial to enter the gaming industry?
So there is actually a class on game development in SOC, which I didn't take. So I will say it's not a must to take all these classes. A lot of it is really like what you do on the side. And because for me, I had the benefit of doing this master's program, and during this master's program, I did a bunch of games. So I had like shipped games. I made games and demonstrated them, showcased them at conferences, and people played it live, which is always the scary thing. So I had shipped games on my portfolio in my resume, which was very interesting for my company, Rec Room, at that time, because VR was still very new and not many people had worked with VR, and even fewer people had shipped a VR game. I had that experience. So they were like, let's chat with Sarah, which was fun fact. I didn't actually apply there. They found me. My CEO reached out to me and was like, hey, let's chat. Your background looks interesting.
Wow, interesting. And you're one of the first few hires, right?
I was employee number 10.
Wow. Okay. Whoa. Excellent. My gosh, that's really awesome. That means aside from the founders and a few key members, you were pretty much the next person they hired. Yeah.
Yep. Discrete math, is it important for a game dev? It depends really. I don't use it at all. So for my job in particular, I say no, but the concepts which it teaches, the way of thinking, it's pretty important. But specifically discrete math, no, I don't use it at all in my day-to-day.
Well, I teach discrete math. I used to teach, and I must say it is important in the sense that it's the foundation of more complicated things like algorithms, like graph theory, which are data structures that are used. So yeah, I mean, you may not use it on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
So like specifically, that's why I say specifically discrete math, no, but the way of thinking that it teaches you is important.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today for this session. Please continue to join us at the next hour at 12 o'clock, where I will be back and I'll be able to take on more questions from all of you. We apologize that we can't get through all the questions. I know you're very curious. I know you're very excited also to meet with Sarah, right? I think once again, I want to express my sincere thanks to Sarah for joining us live all the way from Seattle, despite her busy schedule and despite all. I think one thing we really need you to come back to your enthusiasm will spill over.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, cool. Any final words? Any final words you want to say to everyone?
I am on the Discord, the open day Discord. So if you guys still have questions, you can ask there. I will answer.
That'll be good. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. All right, so let's conclude this session. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll be back for another event. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.